Welcome back to Aunt Lainey's Kitchen, and I am here with the third and final segment. I'm going to review some restaurants. Okay, I have been running the streets, or really kind of driving the streets, and I want to start off with, I went back to my hometown earlier this month, Topeka, Kansas. Well, I was born in Minnesota, raised in Topeka, but I always considered Topeka to kind of be my hometown since I spent most of my childhood there. So I had a lot of things going on that day. It started off, I went and saw my stepdad and hung out with him for a little bit. And before I got to Topeka, I was in Louisburg, Kansas. So he loves all things apples. And so I was able to give him some cider donuts from Louisburg Cider Mill. Now, I have not had those cider donuts for a very long time. It's been a long time, and it just happened that someone had brought them in to work, and I tried them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good, and I need to, go out and try, these apple cider donuts. I need to go to, I wanted to go to Louisburg, straight there. But then again, I always got busy. I would forget about it. Something would happen in October, just all the things you can think of. And so finally I was able to do it. They had like some kind of festival thing going on. And I just went to the Lewisburg cider mill part of it. I didn't go to like there's like a farm thing going on. I didn't do that. I just went to the Lewisburg cider mill and I went into the store and I was on a very limited, I was on a time crunch really. And so I get there and the line is snaking around and it's getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, oh no. And then luckily, they had like like a small stand set up, kind of more of like a snack bar situation. And they were selling the donuts like in, a container. And so I'm like, perfect. I'm going to try one and then I'm going to give the rest to my stepdad. And I did instruct him to not eat them in one setting, but he just kind of looked at me like, okay, kid, whatever. So I don't know. I mean, he's probably not going to cop to the fact that he might have eaten them, all in one day. I don't know. But anyways, the donuts were really, really good. So that's kind of like so I was already in a good mood as I was, driving down to Topeka because I had my yummy apple cider donut that just had the right amount of tartness and sweetness and the soft kind of pastry part of the situation. So good. So from my stepdad's house, I went and saw some of my aunties, spent some time with them. And then I ended up at a christening. I picked up one auntie, took her to another auntie's house. We hung out, and then I guess we ended up having like this key lime pie. There's like these pre-made key lime pies that come in like a little pie container, like shaped like a wedge of pie. And so we had some of those. It was like I don't know what the name of the brand was, but it was actually pretty good. And we sat there and then I had I believe I had some water that I drank along with the key lime pie. It was really good. And it had a nice kind of tartness, but I think but it was kind of sweet on top of it. So it kind of depends on what someone's preference is. I kind of like my key lime pies just a little like with a little bit more tartness, but again, it was still really good and much appreciated. And so from there, I went and to like part two of the christening, and I dropped off one auntie, the auntie that I had with me there. And I didn't eat any food there because I knew I was meeting up with people for memorial service at Jeremiah Bullfrogs. See, I told you I could get there. And I haven't been to Jeremiah Bullfrogs in a while. Maybe like it's been like a few months. And last time I was there, I ordered something that was not a burger and fries. I think I had onion rings and some kind of a sandwich, maybe a chicken bacon sandwich. It was so good. Um, but this time, you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm hungry. I've been running around all day. By the time I got there, it was like five, like maybe 4:55, something like that. So I was super hungry. And so I was like, okay, I need a burger and fries. I need to get the hard stuff. So I got a burger and fries. I washed it down with an unsweet iced tea. So what I appreciated about their burgers is that they actually give you a real burger. Sometimes, some of these places you're not getting like the burgers are so small, but this burger was pretty good size. And I added some bacon to it. Very good. And then they put things on the side like the onions and the lettuce and all that stuff. You can have them put that on the side. And so I did. and the fries were good, and they served them hot because, again, they're pretty busy. Like, Jeremiah Bullfrogs is a sports bar. Like, if I wanted to go watch a game, that's where I would go, is Jeremiah Bullfrogs. If I wanted to meet up with people, like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, and, like my Topeka friends, I would say, hey, let's just meet up at Bullfrogs. That's what we call as Bullfrogs because it's close to like a grocery store, so you can kind of like, meet up with me and then go get your grocery shopping done if you need to go and do that. But it's kind of on the west side of town in Topeka, and so you know, the service was great, and I definitely will go back. When I'm in Topeka, I'm gonna probably make that my meetup place for folks that live kind of on the west side, and then I'll come up with like more of a mid town, mid Topeka town high like hangout as well. I still haven't found one there, but I will. I will find that cool little meetup spot. Um, so moving on from Jeremiah Bullfrogs, I went to, and I'm gonna leave the Antler Room. I'm also gonna review that. That's in Kansas City. I'm gonna leave that for last because it's a little bit more of an intricate review. So I'm gonna go in time. I'm gonna fast forward in time. I'm going to talk about Captain Sports Lounge in the Northland. And I just was there because, the Chiefs played the Raiders. And so I was there. I met up with friends. I got a little hung up in, getting my tires. It took a little bit longer than it was supposed to. But again, I was able to get my tires and I was able to get there. I think I got there in the middle of halftime. So it was fine. And I was so hungry. I ordered the mozzarella triangles and then a small side salad with grilled chicken, and I topped it with a raspberry vinaigrette. Now, I like mozzarella triangles, but I'll tell you that when I'm watching a game, I don't want to eat mozzarella triangles because I have to like concentrate because it's a little bit different. When you have a stick, it's like you stick in the mozzarella stick, in the pizza sauce, and you can put it to your mouth and you can kind of like, watch the game and do that. With the triangles, it's for me, it's more of a like a cut situation. I felt like I had to cut. The triangles were good. They're just the right amount of breading. The cheese was good. It tasted fresh. It didn't taste like, old or whatever. But it's just that for me, I don't want to eat that kind of stuff during a game. I don't want to really really concentrate. Now I know you're saying to yourself, you might be saying to yourself, but you had a side salad. The side salad's a little bit different because, I'm spearing it, but then and I can put it to my mouth and whatever, but it's not, I don't have to worry about like cheese, spraying everywhere or anything like that. It's just much easier to kind of eat mozzarella sticks. That's my only kind of critique, but the mozzarella triangles were good. And it's the kind of thing I would eat if the game weren't on, or maybe a game's playing that I don't really care about the teams. It's like some random NFL team playing, not the Chiefs. Then I would be okay with kind of like doing the cut, the whole cut and spear kind of thing. But I mean, again, granted, like it was kind of a shutout game, but still, I do like to watch the Chiefs or whatever. But I definitely would go back, and it's another sports bar. It's kind of place that, and they have activities during their Chiefs games. When the Chiefs play, they do activities. It's a lot of fun. They have a DJ. It's a lot of fun. It's a very interactive experience. It's that kind of thing. If you're really into interactive experiences and you want to have, if something like that you're into, then that is definitely a place that I will go to again because I appreciate the interactive activities. And just for the side salad, the grilled chicken was spot on. Sometimes with grilled chicken, it's a little too chewy, like it's like over grilled, and sometimes it's like not seasoned well, but this worked. Like they had the right amount of like, seasoning on there. And I chose the raspberry vinaigrette because it kind of gave a nice sweetness to the fresh because the lettuce tasted really fresh and it just kind of worked for me. Okay, now I'm gonna take us to the Antler Room. This place it was my very first time going, and it's very competitive to get into the Antler Room. Just FYI, it's very competitive to get, especially when we had a bigger group. So it was, it was very competitive. So and I went there last month in September. So the first thing I did was again, I have a monthly dining group that I attend, and we go to all these kind of like, the bougier places in town, and which I appreciate because I'm always putting those on my list that I kind of like forget. But this dining club kind of holds me accountable. And then during the outing, we talk about different other restaurants for us to try, or maybe like everyone's been there and they're recommending it. So, and giving like a recommendation to me, and that's important because again, I make these lists and then I just forget about them. It's like, why did I even make that list? So, um, for the Antler Room, I it's been on my radar for a while. Everyone in my life has been there except for me. And so I was really excited to go. And this place, it's an elegant, laid back vibe. Okay. I would call it elegant, laid back vibe. I dressed up because I like to dress up, but it's a place that, I mean, I saw people in various states of attire. So I don't think they're kicking anybody out if someone shows up in like, yoga pants and a t-shirt, but it's just kind of a elegantly laid back vibe. And it's really great for solo outing, a date night, or maybe a small group of people, 6 to 8 people. Like, and again, I think these days in this environment, it's just really important for me to know that, hey, I've if I've got more than 6 people, can we get, a reservation? Is there going to be any additional like, things we need to think about? So I started off this meal with a lemon verbena mint tea, and it was great. It had a nice, sometimes lemony things, like it's like lemon. It's like they just put all this lemon flavoring in there, and they're like, okay, you can taste the lemon, right? And that's all you can taste. This tea had some subtlety to it, and so you could taste the mint and you could taste the lemon, but they weren't overpowering each other. They were just there and blended well. So because we had multiple people, um, like what we do a lot of times is we kind of do a shared plate situation. Like we kind of like we put our meals out. Again, it depends on the place, not always, but a lot of times we do like a shared meal, like a small, because the smaller plate things. And so there was a farmer's green salad, and I think I had a little bit of that, and it was good and it was fresh. It was very fresh tasting. And, the ingredients were, they tasted fresh, and there's a nice crunch to the salad. And so I really kind of appreciated that. I know it's like people have told me, well, Aunt Lainie, if you've had one salad, you had them all. But I disagree with that. Not all salads are created the same way, and they don't have, the same impact, right? The same positive impact. Then there was also honey roasted carrots. I don't know. I think I tried like a little bit of them. They were really good. Um, like I remember them because I didn't try a lot, just like a little. Like I'm okay with taking a taste of things. I don't have to like do like the whole thing. Just like I just want to taste because I knew I was gonna order something, some kind of like a heavier uh item. And so then there was shokupan, and that is like a Japanese milk bread. So, I did try a little bit of that, and it was really good. It had a nice texture and had a nice sweet and a milky kind of taste. Now, the one I ordered was the Wagyu strip loin tartare. So it was like kind of like a kind of a beef tartare situation. It was really good. It had like you could kind of, and again, I usually don't go for the tartare, but this was actually really good, and it was flavored like seasoned amazingly. And the texture was good. There was kind of there was some crunch on there on the meat. I think I want to say it tasted like some kind of, not a, like some kind of like dried noodle or something. I think that's what it kind of tasted like, but it was good. And I liked, because otherwise I feel like it probably would have, it probably would have ended up kind of being a little too raw for me. And I know you might be thinking, oh my gosh, like it's tartar. I know, but not all tartars are the same. Some tartars are, more tartar than other. And I feel like I'm speaking in a riddle as I say that, but um it really worked, and I could really taste like, it kind of had a bit of like a citrusy taste, just like a little bit. It's really good. And then there was the tortellini, and I think that I took a little bit of the tortellini. I've got like all the pictures that I'm kind of like looking at as and there was a little bit of a kick to the tortellini. I liked it, but there's a little bit of a kick. Now the ratatouille, I did not try that one. I believe that's one I did not try, but it looked amazing. I was just trying to save my appetite a little bit because there was so much food that was coming out. And then their farfalla, I did have a couple of the bow ties. It was really good. All of the things, just the common theme was things were seasoned correctly, and the textures went with the food. I didn't have a situation where it was seasoned amazingly and then the texture was like, what's going on here? Or vice versa, where the texture was spot on, but the seasoning was like not. Um, then there were blistered shishito peppers. I did not try those either. I kind of like, and I usually, I've had those before, an iteration of those, but there was just so much food, I just wasn't into it. Now, I did try the final item is shrimp scampi. I did try it. It was really good. It had like a nice it had like a nice seasoning to it, and they kind of put it like in a liquid, like a broth situation. And I and the shrimp was very tender. And sometimes with shrimp, when it's that big, um, it it can get kind of rubbery. Like it kind of lose its flavor. Like, that I've seen it where it's seasoned, it's in things, but then you actually, taste the shrimp and it's like, whoa, this is not good. But this actually was good. I mean, everything at this place was, everything that I tried, and I did try about probably 80% of it. It was good. It was really good. I'll definitely um go back again. I definitely have plans to kind of, maybe go back again next year, but there's so many restaurants that I want to try. That's the thing, right? I just get caught up in like, I got to go here. And I feel like every week my list grows longer. It grows longer. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And, I always appreciate, I love doing these podcasts. I have so much fun because it forces me to like research and really be more mindful about some of the things that I'm doing. And my website is at auntlaneyskitchen.com for more information. And that's it for me. Please take care, and I will talk to you soon.